A very good evening and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the program. Tonight we'll be talking about Rotary. Now, Rotary worldwide received a lot of praise for its work in ending polio. In 1985, Rotary launched its Polio Plus program, the first initiative to tackle global polio eradication through the mass vaccination of children. Rotary has contributed more than 1.7 billion and countless volunteer hours to immunize more than 2.5 billion children in 122 countries. In addition, Rotary's advocacy efforts have played a role in decisions by donor governments to contribute more than 7.2 billion to the effort. The Global Polio Eradication Initiative, formed in 1988, is a public-private partnership that includes Rotary, the World Health Organization, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and governments of the world. Rotary's focus is advocacy, fundraising, volunteer recruitment, and awareness building. Just 37 polio cases were confirmed worldwide in 2016, which is a reduction of more than 99% since the 1980s, when the world saw about 1,000 cases per day. Welcome, my panelists for today, and I'll very quickly introduce you. I'll start with you, Mrs. Robina Luwa-Malutaya. You're a lawyer and tax consultant, and you've been a Rotarian for 16 years.
Yes, please.
Does this include the years as a Rotaractor?
No, I just joined Rotary.
Okay.
I have never been a Rotary. I'm a Rotaractor.
Well, it's good to have you on the panel. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Josephine, and good evening, reviewers.
Okay. And then we have Honorable Mike Kennedy Sebalu, who is a politician and a Rotary leader. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How many years has it been?
Yeah, it's been over 10 years as a Rotarian, but I started as a Rotaractor, being part of the charter membership of the Rotaract Club of Mbarara.
Okay.
But then I had just left college and I was working in Mbarara. Okay. So we galvanized ourselves and formed the first community Rotaract Club in that part of the country.
Okay. Does Rotaract and Rotary have anything to do with Interact Club?
Yeah, definitely.
So were you an interactor?
It is one family.
Were you an interactor?
No. I missed that opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, Rebecca Nambiru, who is a business analyst and Rotaractor. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you.
How long have you been part of this?
1 year and 8 months.
1 year and 8 months.
Yes.
All right. Let's say it as it is. All right. So we have somebody who's been here 16 years, 10 years, and 1 year and 6 months. I like the balance because then it gives us the picture of before and where we are now. What was the thinking behind Rotary when it was started?
Yeah, basically Rotary was started on the basis of bringing professionals and business persons to come together and be able to share their experience, compare notes, and chart the way forward. And the first that engaged by Paul Harris, who nurtured this idea, he was a lawyer himself, picked up a few friends, and they started meeting in their office places to meet and take action about the challenges of society. So and the name Rotary came from the principle of rotation. They could meet in one's office, next time they go to another place. So that's how it became Rotary, because they were rotating, giving each an opportunity to host.
Okay, so this is about 100 years ago?
To be exact, 113.
Okay. Rebecca, why did you join Rotary?
I joined because I was attracted to the service that I could render to people in my country and all over the world.
What kind of service is this?
Medical, environmental, education, developing profession and leadership.
So in the 1 year plus that you've been part of Rotaract,
yes.
Right? What have you seen happen that tells you that you're in the right fit?
We've impacted communities. For example, there is a Kakindu village where we go almost every year. We've been there for 4 years and we've treated people. We've developed skills.
When you say treated people, are you medical doctors?
Not really. We source for medical doctors who are willing to provide services at either free or a subsidized cost. Okay. And we work with them, we partner with them.
All right.
Then we've also empowered people with different skills of starting their own businesses and earning a living.
All right. Do you think that the work of Rotary is still on course from what it was when it was started?
Yes, we are on course because we are carrying out a lot of service projects which are impacting the community.
Okay.
Like another organization, there may be issues, yes, and we acknowledge, but we're on course on the motto of Rotary, that is service above self.
Well, I didn't bring up the issues, but you have, so I'm curious to know what issues are these that are coming up.
I think the issues, the positives definitely do outweigh any other challenges that may come up, because there are aspects that we need to appreciate about Rotary, which have remained the force driving the initiatives of Rotary. One is voluntarism. This is an association of volunteers, professional and business persons who come together and are united by the ideal of service. So the driving force in their initiatives, what they think, say, or do and undertake is to serve humanity. And in your beginning, you just started with a very good point of departure where you clearly indicated the role Rotary has played in eradication of polio. That was a clear undertaking made by Rotarians to do that. And there are so many other areas that have been handled by Rotary. So Rotary is on course. It is growing. We are getting more people joining the initiative. We are getting more hands on the job. And we are really doing well.
I'm glad for one that we have women on the panel tonight, because I know that for a long time Rotary was an exclusive club for men. So, and women came in at about when? In 1989, when you know, the Constitution and all of that got involved. So do we still have clubs in Uganda that are keeping women out? Because I know that until about 2004, there was actually a club that I knew that was keeping them out.
Yeah, like when she talked about issues, that was one of the issues. Actually, it was a major issue. And it has ceased to be. Because at the moment, actually, Rotary fully embraced the women, the female gender. And indeed, they brought a lot of value with them, to the extent that now in our district, 9211, the district governor is a lady. And we have so many ladies that are presiding over their clubs as presidents and doing pretty good work. We have so many assistant governors who are ladies. So what I want to say, that was a bit of lost opportunity for a long time. For as long as we didn't have women on board, that was a big, big, big gap. But ever since that gap was filled, Rotary has never been the same. It is more engaging, it is more fulfilling, it is more accommodative, and addressing issues from a broader perspective of either gender.
I like that you say it was a lost opportunity for a very, very long
Yeah,
time. I like that you put it out there.
I do acknowledge. I'm a progressive.
It is good to know. How many clubs do we have in Uganda?
Uganda, the last bit we have slightly over 100 clubs, about 105.
Is that
because
too
there are
many
so
or too
many
few?
information, and men are getting chartered, but definitely it is over and above 100
Is it too
clubs.
many or too few?
No, actually it is too few. We are looking at a notion where in each and every administrative district we do have a club, because that will then contribute to our bigger agenda, because we want to grow Rotary not only in Uganda, but we want to grow Rotary in Africa, so that we can become a zone of ourselves, which then gives us opportunity to have a member on the RI board, and that opens our chances of regularly having RI presidents coming from this part of the world. So the game of numbers is something we must work on in order to create visibility and opening up better opportunities for our participation at an international scale.
There are some who have said, and these are to all of the people on the panel, that Rotary is some kind of sect. It is some kind of, how do I phrase it, cult of sorts. What do you say?
We have been so quiet about Rotary, and people don't appreciate what Rotary is. And that's why they call it a cult. And I think you have had instances where they have said that Rotary is for rich people. Now, what we are doing...
Is it not?
No, Rotary is not for rich people. Yes, it's rich for a person who is rich in the heart and ready to serve, but not in terms of money. And now this is why we are so grateful that on this show we can now tell people about Rotary. And this is one of our focus area now, that we have to go to the people and tell them we are not a cult, but we are a service organization ready to spread services in each and every district of Uganda. So ours is service. You know, when you have something which people don't understand, people are bound to misinterpret it. I myself, when I was joining, they said, because I'm a saved person, by the way, so they said that how can you be saved and join a cult? But I proved that that is what the Lord is after, that we should reach those who are disadvantaged, and this is what Rotary is doing.
Okay.
It's providing services to the people.
A small addition.
Yes.
I think the dimension of the cult is derived from this notion of being motivated by powers that are out of the ordinary, because people can't imagine that people can't imagine that a normal person will give their time, will give their money, their resources to help people they don't know. That is one aspect. Two, again, people are driven by the desire that it's not human to give when you don't expect to gain from what you are giving. So people are wondering, who are these people who can give without expecting, who give their time, their money to people they will never meet? So the simple answer for them is that those must be a cult.
Okay.
But it is basically appearing to be unreasonable in the way we put our efforts to help those that are in need.
All right.
That's why the richest people in terms of bank balance are not in Rotary. But the people who are richest at heart are the ones in Rotary who can share a penny between people they don't know, they never even hope to meet.
I was going to ask you if you're rich, but let me ask Rebecca.
Oh, yeah.
Rebecca, is Rotaract for rich people?
Not really. I actually wake up every morning to go look for money that I can share with other people. So it's not for rich people. And we also have Rotaractors in universities, university-based clubs. So these people don't earn a living. How do you define them as rich people, yet they're at school? Some are in hostels.
When I was at the university, we had very many rich people.
But
but they were not Rotaractors.
And also, most of them were. And also, I will say that back in school, the interactors were the people who were having all the fun in school. That was the social club to join. And these were people who had the money to have that fun. So when I actually put it up on Twitter before we held this show, and I asked people what they thought about Rotary, that was one of the first things that came up. It was, that is for rich people. These are people who like to have fun. These are people who, you know, and I'm not saying fun is a bad thing. I'm just saying that...
And fun is not for rich people, because you can have fun with a cup of tea and popcorns.
I don't think that's
and
the fun they
spirit
meant.
is quite exciting.
I think the way we are groomed, the way Rotary grooms people, is what makes the outsiders think that it's for rich people.
How does Rotary groom you?
It grooms you to be a presentable person, a respectable person. You'll find people being encouraged to put on well. For example, to wear a suit on a Monday. Yeah. And then if someone meets you and they find you in a suit, they'll think she has money.
Is that what makes us think you people have money? You don't have money?
I don't have money.
We have some money. We have some money.
The money we have, that is for sure, we have money. But we are ready to share the little that we have. Okay. That is the notion, and that is the difference.
I think that was the key statement that I was waiting to hear.
Yes, share the little we have.
Okay.
That's why you find that people will always be available to contribute to the Rotary Foundation. It is a big foundation that we use to fund our projects, but whichever little one has, $1, $2, you are encouraged to give it. Then it is put in a reserve that builds a good fund. Okay. So it is the spirit of sacrifice and sharing and willingness to give for the benefit of others.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Salons. We offer professional barber, hairdressing at Lugogo Mall, Garden City, Forest Mall, Oasis Mall and Acacia Mall. Sparkle Salon. Professional, affordable and quality services.
Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, Nile Room. And so when we took the break, you were speaking actually about, you'd mentioned, Rebecca, how Rotary grooms you. And so I wanted to ask, do you think that clubs like Rotary bring out the best in people, or that they should bring out the best in people?
I believe so, because first of all, I've never dreamed of being on TV. So I think it has brought me up.
Okay.
Yeah, and even the way I do my things, I think it's unique.
It's different?
Yeah, it's different.
Okay.
Yeah, it does so, because Rotary is organized around the principle of classifications. So you find that we have people of different callings, people of different professions coming together. And when you do come together, you bring your specific, unique skills, knowledge base, experience, exposure, and expertise on the table. Now that helps in building a body of knowledge that is very good in terms of helping us to manage the areas of focus. We also have areas of focus where we put our attention. So you find different people bringing their knowledge base to help out in terms of impacting the projects that we do in the 6 areas of focus. Maybe later on I'll be in position to highlight them for the benefit of the viewers, to know that actually our focus is wider than having a glass of wine or a bottle of beer.
Are there particular things that are schooled or taught in these clubs, or is there a way these people are groomed that you are taken away from constantly thinking about yourself? You know, you stand for service above self.
Yeah,
do we actually see it happening, or is it just a motto that we see on?
No, definitely it does happen, and that is one of the drivers of what we do. It originates from the sacrifices that we have to make, the giving that we have to do, and the projects that we do. Each club does a host of very many projects, but you find that even as a member of a club or members of your family are not supposed to benefit from the projects that you do. So the whole idea is to serve those less advantaged, those far from us, and the sacrifice then becomes of essence. Okay. So we do things that don't benefit us. We build schools where our children may never go. We go and do health camps where our people may never be. You find that a club is here, but it is doing a project in Gulu. And the members of that club may not be even from that part of the country. But because there is a need, Rotary will always go there. We are driven by the needs. How do you find the needs? We normally engage communities. You may find that someone has detected a problem in a given area. Then we pick interest. And then we work with the experts to work on the needs assessment. We involve the community, because at the end of the day, we want the community to own the project for purposes of sustainability. Okay. But it is a question. Some of the projects are got from newspapers. You find a newspaper article, there is a young girl, for instance, there is a young girl now who is in Mukono doing law, but she was identified during the funeral of the late Sama Wari. When members came there, this young girl moved all the way on foot from Mbale to Tororo. Then she told her story of how she was supposed to have joined the law school, but because of lack of money, she had missed out, and yet she was a very brilliant student. And that was the end of the story. Now she's in Mukono. The Rotary Club of Kampala is picking the bills for tuition. They've bought her a laptop. They are getting everything that she needs in her studies. So tomorrow we are going to have a lawyer in town whose dream was made real by Rotary, and just out of a story.
What is the reward for the Rotarian from all of this?
You know, psychological satisfaction.
And seeing that we have impacted and transformed the people we touch or the community we have touched.
Okay. So how do you judge new members that come in? Yes, Rebecca.
New members are usually taken through training. And
but at that point, they've already become members.
Before being members, they are mentored. We get to know what they want, what impact are they going, what value are they adding to the club, and then we try to integrate it in the club's goals. And
the most important thing is that you don't join Rotary out of your willingness. You are invited. So before you are invited, people will look out for the qualities that make a good Rotarian. You must be in position to pay your dues because it is a membership organization, or else if you come and you can't, then you can't be a member without managing your membership.
So what are these dues we are talking about?
They're not quite, they vary from, but basically a few shillings.
Why are you being shy about that one?
Because they vary from club to club.
What is the estimate? So give me
let me say something like $100 for a year.
You're even saying it in dollars.
Something like 60 shillings a year.
No, because we have to send it to Rotary International.
So
they are broken down and taken.
$100, which is about 375,000 Uganda shillings,
for a whole year,
is for an individual.
Yes, an individual.
So what happens when a member of Rotary who stands for service above self is the same person caught in every other scandal, corruption, greed, everything to do with that?
To be sure, I haven't heard about that incident. But what happens is because we stand and we promote integrity, when we find any act of corruption or misuse of funds, that person is terminated. And Rotary is so bad because your name will fly everywhere. This person has been terminated, no longer a Rotarian, is not accepted to join any club. That's how bad it is. That's how bad is it.
I would simply say that that statement is not the norm, it is the exception. So those are the few, the marginal kind of thing. It's not the general rule. Rotary cherishes and champions those values. So if you are short of those values, then you cannot continue to be a member of Rotary, and that is one of the grounds upon which you can be terminated in your club.
Okay.
Yep.
Have we seen terminations actually happening?
Yes,
they do.
We have.
So are we saying Rotary was infiltrated at a certain point in time?
No, you see, one thing we need to appreciate is that every organization you create is a reflection of the society in which you are. Even in church, you get some challenges, and yet church is supposed to be pure exclusive, but still wrong people get their way there. So the beauty is that there should be mechanisms to tell who is not fit to be, and remedial measures taken to rid the organization of such people. That is the most important thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, is it the same for Rotaract? Do these rules apply?
Yes, they do. They're universal.
They do, and currently one of the goals of the district is to improve on the image of Rotary. So we are working towards having a better image than what people think Rotary is.
Okay. Through
PR, through encouraging other members to join and mentoring them on how. And
the picture that is out there of Rotaract, and I've experienced this myself, I've experienced the indiscipline that is in the clubs. And this wasn't actually for a particular one club, just one club. It was a meeting of many different clubs together. And the indiscipline there was at a level that even I feared. And so when I asked this question on Rotary, because I didn't know what happens in Rotary, and I was getting all these responses, and somebody said, Rotary, it's like this place where people go to meet for all of these reasons. Married people don't go with their spouses, and there's all of these things that seem. So when you talk about cleaning up the image of the club, what exactly are you saying?
Okay, it's first of all promoting Rotary, but how do we promote Rotary if we are not clean? So we are taken through different trainings on how to promote the image, on how to behave. For example, we have a 4-way test on which we stand. It's an ethical code of conduct, which is emphasized every week in each club. So in case you're misbehaving somewhere and there is a Rotaractor or Rotarian who knows that you are, they'll ask you, is it the truth? Or is it fair to all concerned? Those are some of the tests that we go through on a daily basis. Before we say anything, before we act on anything, we have to ask ourselves, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So we go through that kind of test on a daily basis.
Weekly basis. Is this?
But, I have been a district officer in charge of public relations. And right now we have that goal of public image. That goal is not to change the image, that the image is bad and want to make it good. The image is already good. But people are not getting the Rotary image in the right perspective. So that's why we need to come out and tell our story, so that the story is not told in the perspective of those trying to tell it on our behalf.
Who are those, when you say those trying to tell it on our behalf, it means you are saying outsiders are trying to tell a story about Rotary.
Yeah, those who told you those things.
Oh, so some of these things I was told on a public platform, but some of these things we've actually experienced on our own. So some of these things we've seen. It is not that it is somebody's just trying to spoil the image.
No, no, no. I think I want to be very clear on that. There are people who have made up stories, you know, like that issue, the issue that we labor every day, that this is not an exclusive club for rich people. That is a perception that has been created out there in the public. And we want to demonstrate that it is indeed not for rich people. Because you find teachers are not known to be very rich people. But we have very many teachers within our fold. We have middle cadre managers and professionals. It's not a club of CEOs and top managers alone. So it is a mix. But the perception created out there is that these are rich people. And you know, rich people with real big bank balance have other issues that go with them. So they've lumped all that baggage on Rotary. That, you know, they just go to enjoy wine, they don't have where to spend their money. But people even struggle to raise their dues. But because they are committed, they plan it out and ensure that they get it. So we want those kind of aspects of Rotary to be appreciated out of a perception created that those are rich people and all problems associated with rich people are of necessity associated with the Rotary. That is not true.
All right, let's take another short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Conference Center, Nile Room, and tonight we're talking about Rotary. We're wondering whether Rotary is still serving or if it has become what I don't want to say because Honorable will jump out at me. So what projects have you, for example, done this year that you can point out and say this is something that we wholeheartedly gave into ourselves and where we can actually count the returns?
Currently, we are planning on planting 17,000 trees in Mbale.
Okay.
Yeah, and we think it's going to benefit our environment a lot to bring back the green of the Pearl of Africa. We
have programs, what we call Rotary programs, that are very fundamental and life-changing. For instance, we have the cancer program. And in a couple of weeks, we are going to be having a cancer run. We are solely responsible for putting up a state-of-the-art cancer ward in Zambia. And right now we've mobilized the machines and we are going to build the bunker where those machines are stored. That is a program.
That is Rotary on its own.
Rotary on its own. We have the blood bank in Mengo. We are the first service organization outside government to establish a blood bank purely fundraised for and put up by Rotary, and it is a program ongoing. It will have other aspects of ensuring that we get blood donations and blood centers in the entire country. Even the cancer ward will have other centers put across the country. Do we have a
target? Or because you're saying many things and somebody has to keep track. So do we have targets? Do we have timelines? Do we have, what do we have to show for what you're saying?
We've got targets, because right now when I talk about a cancer ward, it's right there in Zambia. You can go and sit fully running and operational. That was one phase. The next phase was to get the linear machine for purposes of dealing with that. That one has been put in place. The next phase is to build a bunker where it is stored, technically, to avoid any technical issues with it. That is in place.
So this is Rotary working in isolation, or with ministry officials, or with the government?
This is a Rotary-driven program. Other players, other actors are just supplementing, but it is entirely driven by Rotary.
Okay. Yes.
Other programs we are running, we have put up a hospital at Mukono, which is, I think, has been already equipped. That is the Rotary program. And we have a program which is Vijana Po, which is trying to change the mindset of our youth, and so that they can engage in gainful employment.
Okay.
Those are some of the programs we are running.
So
and just to put in perspective, the idea she was putting, it is under a bigger program called Mission Green. Where we want
so the 17,000 trees.
Yes.
But the bigger picture is 5 million trees, over 5 million trees. But these are targets of a club. But the overall is much bigger than what the club is contributing to that. Yeah.
Okay.
And Josephine, sorry to interrupt you. When you go to, like we people in Rotary Club of Bukoto, we have put up a school. We have built a school. We went into the area, he was the president, and we found that the children were studying under trees. And the nearest school was about 8 kilometers from there. So we have put up a school up to P7.
So why do we hear more?
In a very remote area of Kabutemba. Very remote.
Honorable Sebalu, yes. I don't know what grooming happens, but you have to let me talk at some point. Why do we then not hear a lot of this, and hear a lot of it is a cult, it is for rich people, it is, what is out there that makes it, that what we hear about you is not the good things?
Yeah, you see, we have a society that is averse to appreciating goodness. Like even yourself, when you put on very nicely, people may imagine it is a show off, and yet it is within you to serve in a manner that is dignified. So when Rotary does good, people always want to negate the goodness of something and go on the side shows. Okay. You've heard of rich people who have really struggled to make their own money, and they say that is stolen money. Well, we agree. There are those that earn it through stealing, but not everyone rich has stolen. Okay. So there is this notion of not appreciating the goodness. Okay. And that is why we thought at one point that would let our work speak for us. But people don't seem to pick those good examples, so we must come out and tell our story.
So which other organizations do the kind of service that you do? Because we're doing service, so it's not really competition, right?
No.
Yes.
So who else is doing the same things that you do, serving in the different nations?
The Lions is a service organization. Then you have also other conventional NGOs like the YMCA, like Red Cross, like all those targeting the needs of disadvantaged members of society. So there are a host of other organizations doing the kind of work we do, and indeed we work with them. Some of the projects we undertake, we do them with such organizations as partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what makes Rotary then stand up? Rotary, what makes you stand out from the others?
For us, we are a membership organization. All members of Rotary, we are a membership organization. We pay, and by paying, we have our own fund. the Rotary, the Rotary Foundation. That is a fund that is mobilized through the little that we give. And that fund helps to implement our projects. You find many of these other organizations depend on donors in the sense of traditional donors. But at least for us, we have a mechanism in place that can allow our projects to be funded with global grants from the contributions that we make. So the small money that you pay can end up coming back in a bigger way.
Okay.
And I want to give an example. Like Uganda, we may be giving maybe $500 US, but you may find that in a year we can get projects worth $3 million US. So we are even benefiting more than we are giving. So that makes Rotary very unique.
Who holds Rotary accountable? So for example, you've given your $500 and you get a project worth $3 million. Who ensures that money does not disappear somewhere along the way?
Yeah, we've got institutional mechanisms in place. First of all, we put a lot of emphasis on stewardship. And before you get that grant, there are certain things that you must have done that put you at a level of transparency and accountability that is acceptable to the Rotary mainstream funding arrangements.
Okay.
And there are also mechanisms of ensuring that there is value for money and that you've put the money to the rightful use. Actually, there are some clubs that have run into trouble by mishandling such money. And they've been, some of them have even been terminated, the club being deregistered totally out of the Rotary family. So it is that serious.
What happens to the members of that club?
Once your club has been terminated, then you are in big trouble. You
can't
cease
turn to the
be.
neighbors.
You cease to be, because the Rotary has all the information regarding the membership. Everyone has a number with Rotary International. Mike Sebalu, I have a number, so nobody can play around imagining that he's Mike or he's not. So you are identified by your number, by your club number. So there are clear mechanisms of dealing with you as a club or as an individual.
Okay.
And maybe to add on that, before you engage on, you take on such a big project, the club has to sign a memorandum of understanding with Rotary International that you use the money they are sending in accordance to the proposal you have written. And if there is any misappropriation, members of the club are made accountable and you have to pay.
Okay.
Members of the club have to pay for that money to Rotary International.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to ask us to wrap up, but as we do, I would like to hear, Rebecca, your contribution, for example, as an individual and also your club to the country.
I've contributed time, my skill, money, and knowledge to first of all my club.
Okay.
And then my club has promoted Rotary image through social media.
Oh, I want
to the country, sorry. We've treated a number of people in Kakindu, and we hope to treat more people. We've empowered people in different skills.
Please, I would like to hear from you before we wrap up. What would you like us to go on with from this conversation on Rotary? Really not about Rotary, but the things that Rotary has told you as an individual that you'd share with somebody else.
Okay, one thing Rotary has taught me the best is that I should put I put the interests of other people before mine. And that is what our motto says, service above self. That you should not look at yourself, but you should look at helping the community, especially the community we are coming from, and share the little you have with those people, with those needed people. And that's very important.
Okay, right. Honorable Sebalu, you wrap us up?
Yeah, I think my club, the Rotary Club of Bukoto, like all other clubs have done, we've put focus on the 6 areas of focus. And these are the peace and conflict prevention, resolution. We have disease prevention and treatment, water and sanitation, and maternal and child health, as well as basic education and literacy, and economic and community development. So we've used the model of the 6 areas of focus in making interventions in that rural community of Kabutemba, which will never be the same because we've adopted it as a village by bringing different interventions along those focus areas. Okay. And at the end of the day, we hope to see a fully transformed society. And when that happens, I can go to meet my creator.
As an individual, from your work with Rotary and from all the things you've learned there, and before you go to meet the creator, what is your pledge to the nation as a Rotarian?
Yeah, my pledge is that in all responsibilities that we have, and let me take it at leadership level, that in the leadership positions that we have in politics, in corporate world, in the civic world, in the community, all leaders in their respective mandates, let's put priority in giving services to the community.
Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to come and speak on Rotary. We were wondering whether it was still serving, and I suspect we have an answer. Well, thank you very much, and that brings us to the end of our show for tonight. Coming up is NTV Weekend Edition.
Renew your monthly basic bouquet subscription of 18,000 shillings before it expires. Then enjoy 3 free days only on StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.